Hello everyone. Today in this video we will discuss about the concept of lambda expression and how it can be useful for reducing the verbosity of our Java code and writing a less verbose or even a very simplified Java code. Okay, so to begin with, the lambda expression came with the JDK release 8. Okay, so from Java 8 the lambda expressions came, and it was a very big changes in the Java programming language. Okay, so let's understand it about it, how it helps to reduce the complexity of our code or verbosity of our code. So to begin with, I'll come to the anonymous concept, anonymous class concept. Okay, so here we have already discussed in the previous video that what are anonymous classes and how can we implement the interface using anonymous class, right? If you have not seen the video, or if you want to brush up your concepts about anonymous class, you can watch the video which is right now flashing in the I section. Okay, in the I button section. So in the anonymous class video, we have discussed that there was an interface shape which has one abstract method, calculate area, and we were calculating the area of square and rectangle using the anonymous class. As you can see, this is the code we wrote, and then we called these implemented methods, and we got the result, right? So let's take the same example and understand how can we simplify this so many lines of code, or this verbose code, into a very simplified code. So let me take the same example. Let me copy this one and just paste here. And I would also like to copy these two code lines of code also, this complete anonymous class code. So as you can easily now understand that the concept of lambda expression has came from uh, the the anonymous class only. Okay, so anonymous class is a stepping stone in understanding the concept of lambda expression and why lambda expression is important. Okay, so here we have wrote that we have created a reference variable of the shape type. Okay, and then we created a anonymous class, new shape, and wrote our method. Now here, as you can see, we know that our object will be of the type square, or will be of the type of interface, right? Why we need to explicitly define this, that it should be of new shape? This first, verbosity comes from here. Second, we know that our interface is having only one abstract method, and that abstract method has a signature where it takes one it has taken a varix parameter, and it is returning a void. Okay, so the return value is void, and return type is void, and it is taking a variable length argument parameter. So these signature we know. The it Since it has only one abstract method, so we don't have to worry about even the name. The name is also you can say redundant. Okay, because it doesn't make sense. So let's remove this. Then let's remove this override. No need to specifically write override, because it already has only one method only, right? No need to specify its public void calculate area. Why? Because we know that since it has only one method, it has, and the interface methods are always public, and the return type is already defined as void in the interface. So the implementation method will also have the same signature. So let's remove this, remove these opening and closing brackets, right? And finally we have our logic. Now for this argument that we are passing, we don't need to do that. We simply can say a. Why we can simply say a? Because uh, whatever argument we will pass, it will be of the type of a variable length argument, or will be of the type in array. Now this is an array type argument we have discussed in the anonymous class video, so you can uh, refer from them how it is an array. But since we are getting the type from here, so no need to define it. What exactly we need to define is this. So you just have to write a minus sign and a forward arrow, and that's it. And you can see that all the errors have gone. Now to simplify further, since only we have one argument, no need to define this also. Let's put it into the one line. Again, what we are doing is we are printing the area of the square. So formula is this, right? Let's copy the formula. Let's put in place of this, and let's remove this. So we get one line of code. And if we just see that, we don't even need a these brackets also. So finally our this is the code, and this arrow mark that we have kept is called as lambda expression. Okay, so I hope you have now got an idea from a verbose code of this 3 to 4 lines, where it was again and again repeating itself. It was explicitly telling that it should be public, it should be void, it should be a calculate area, it should have a parameter of variable length. We don't require actually that. If an interface has only one abstract method, and that method already has defined its signature, that okay, I will take a variable length argument, I will return nothing, then it should be very much clear that okay, this interface, we only have to implement one method, so no need to specify the name. We only, since only we have one method, we already know what its return type will be and what its parameter will be, right? So this is how a lambda expression is derived from it. Similarly, for rectangle we can do the same. We can remove this part, we can remove from calculate area, in fact from here to override and all, remove this, put a lambda expression, and remove this also. Okay, and since we know that the area is length into breadth, and length is a of 0 and breadth is a of 1, so we can simply write a of 0 into a of 1. No need to specify this whole long thing. Okay, remove this also, and you can just bring back all these things here, right? Now you can see that we can easily call square dot calculate area, just pass one parameter here, and rectangle dot calculate area, and just pass two parameters here, maybe 5 and 6. Okay, and if you try to run this code, the area will come 25 and 30, which is working as fine as this. If you run this code also, we were getting the same area 25 and 20. The arguments were different. We given 4 and 5. Let's give 6 and 5, so the arguments are now same. So it's 25 30 here also, here also. So our arguments is matching, everything is matching. What is that? The logic has come into just one line of code from 5 lines of code. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Oh, so including brackets, we have 7 lines of code we are here writing, and using lambda expression, just one line of code we are writing, and very readable code. Okay. Now the thing with lambda expression here is we can only implement lambda expression for an interface if the interface has only one method, one abstract method. Okay. If this interface has one more abstract method, void, say you want to now draw the shape rather than calculate it. So if I just write this one, okay, so it is not acceptable, right? If you compile, if you run it, it will throw your error. It will say shape is not a functional interface. Multiple overriding, non-overriding abstract methods found in interface functional.shape. So it will not accept it, right? But if we can still write the default method. So in the video of interfaces, we have learned about default methods. So we can here easily write draw shape. Since these default methods don't require uh, the explicit implementation by any other classes, so we can easily define here and we can call also. So we can call square dot draw and we can run it and we'll get the same thing, right? Draw shape. Fine. Now since I have told that this lambda expression will only work when an interface has only one abstract method, so in that case such interface which only has one abstract method is known as functional interface, and you can put an annotation functional interface to mark this interface as functional interface. It is a good code quality practice, okay, to mark any interface which is of having only one abstract method, okay, so that it is very clearly defined that no more abstract method can be defined here within it, okay. So this is the concept of lambda expression that we have learned here, okay. Now you can try lambda expressions with multiple examples. So let's take another example. This time we will have 3D shape, okay, and here we will write void calculate volume, which will take length, then it will take breadth, and then it will take height. Okay, let's understand with this example. Now if you want to use lambda expression and you want that this interface should be a function, should have only one abstract method, then you should just put a functional interface annotation here, and then you can say 3D shape th1, or let consider a 3D shape like cube, okay. So for cube we want to implement. Now you cannot just write a comma b comma c or anything, okay. Any three parameters, you need to pass three parameters. You can use any variable, you don't need to define the type of the variable. It will be automatically inferred from the method signature in the interface. So you need to put brackets if you are passing multiple parameters into the lambda expression. So write a comma b comma c for simplified, and then lambda expression, then just write s out, and then volume of cube is a star b star c, a into b into c, okay. And then we can simply call the method a dot calculate volume. Now pass the parameters. So let's pass easy 1 comma 2 comma 3. Perfect. And so we should get 1 into 2 into 3, that is 6. So if you run it, we will get it. Now suppose you don't want to print the volume, you want to get the volume. So you can change the return type to int, and now you need to return something. Now to return something, either you can write return a into b into c. But here you can see that normally this is the way we return something. But here it is saying, giving the error. Why? Because when we are using the lambda expression, we don't need to specify that we have to return something. We just have to write the expression, what we need to return. What we need to return, that is only we have to specify. If we are using a single line of code, that is also important. So suppose you are using multiple lines of code, then you need to put brackets here, put a semicolon, because this whole is an expression. And what you need to write, if you want to calculate volume, suppose, then we can calculate volume equal to a into b into c, and then we can return volume, right? So if you want to write multiple lines of code inside the lambda expression, you need to specify brackets, and then you can write this. But while returning, you have to then mention return keyword. But for single expression, if you are writing a single line of code, if you have no need to specify it. Okay, so you can just, in for single line, you don't need to specify return keyword, right? I hope you have understood how lambda expressions are work. uh, let's format it a bit. Fine. So for any method signature, you can use it, and then this will let's copy this or cut it, call the method inside it, and if we run the code, we'll get 6. Perfect. So this is how lambda expressions are used for simplifying our verbose code in Java. Okay, now few best practices I would like to specify. You can follow those. First of all, whenever you are using lambda expressions, always try to use lambda expressions for those purpose where you have to write less lines of code. Not more than 2 lines of code you should try to write. Max 1 line of code, very good. 2 lines of code, okay. More than that, then you should think about whether you should actually use lambda expression, or you should go for concrete implementation or use anonymous class. Okay, because lambda expressions are meant to be concise. If you write lots of lines of code inside the lambda expression, then it will again become a verbose thing, right? Secondly, whenever you are designing your interfaces, design in such a way that each interface has one abstract method. And this is because you can use lambda expression and reduce the verbosity of your code, and rest you can have default methods, right? But if your requirement is that, okay, I want to have my requirement according to our requirement in a single interface, we definitely will have multiple abstract methods, then definitely I would say don't go for anonymous class. Use a concrete class implementation. Create a new class, implement that class should implement your interface and provide the implementation for multiple abstract method. Don't write this anonymous class code for multiple abstract methods. You can write more methods inside the anonymous class, but that will make the code less readable. Very much, you know, it is not a good quality industry standard production quality code. Your code may be rejected during the code review when you are sending for uh, pull request or for code reviews, the team lead or senior developers may simply reject your code. Okay, so don't just remember these practices, and you will find that Lambda expressions are way more powerful and way more useful. Okay, that's all for this video. I hope you have understood a lot of concept about Lambda expressions. We'll continue our discussion in further videos, and we will try to use Lambda expression more and more whenever and wherever possible. Okay, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and if you are already a subscriber, you can press the like button, comment your suggestions on how I can improve the video, or if you what you like about this video, what you don't like about this video. So till then, tata, goodbye.